I know a lot of you guys have questions about postpartum doula work, so I kind of just want to give you a little layout about what that looks like for me. And throughout my different experiences that I've had, I feel pretty confident in sharing like what I find is my philosophy as a postpartum doula, and you know, those things that are really important to me and why I do postpartum work. So I just want to share a little bit about what that schedule looks like and what like a shift looks like, just so you have an idea. Normally I'll start my shift around like 11 a.m. because I find that those mornings tend to be times where they either find the opportunity to sleep in, they're, you know, recuperating from being awake all night feeding their baby. So I like to give them that time in the morning if they need it, unless they ask me otherwise. And I like to start shifts like early. So basically as soon as they come home from the hospital, I suggest that I start, because it's helpful to be there at the start of breastfeeding and all of those firsts that happen once they get home. I like to learn about their birth and everything that they've experienced up until that point, their birth team, their partner, how they feel together, like what the first few days have been like. And then we go into breastfeeding. So normally baby has to eat at some point while I'm there, and sometimes it's right away. So I get to kind of see how they're handling breastfeeding, see what's going on with their breastfeeding journey so far, give them any guidance with positioning if they want to try different positions, and hear about how their milk is coming in. So if they've experienced engorgement already, if they have sore nipples, and I can kind of give them some suggestions based off of where they're at with that. I ask what they have eaten that day and if they need a snack or need to eat lunch or something like that. And if they don't have something prepared, then I'll kind of throw out some suggestions like a sandwich or a salad or eggs. What I really liked from a podcast called To Labor, she mentioned platters. So she would throw like fruit and cheese and crackers, so you're kind of getting all the food groups onto a nice little plate, and give them a snack tray if they're not like sure what they want to eat or you're not sure what to make. It's a pretty safe way, if you're not into cooking, to get them a snack. Making sure that they're kind of starting that shift nourished is helpful, because then they can go on to take a nap or a shower while you take baby. So the rest of that shift typically looks like them doing one of those things and me like tidying up the main living spaces, putting the baby to sleep, changing the baby, doing baby laundry or even their laundry. Something that I recommend is getting a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard you can kind of either write the schedule that the baby has had, like when they've had wet diapers, when they've eaten, and then it also gives the opportunity to the parents to kind of write down some to-dos for me if they're going to be napping or showering and not really around me. At least I'll have like a list of things that I can help them out with when we're not in the same room together. You know, my attitude when I walk into a postpartum shift is I got it. Like, leave it to me, I will do it. I'm here for you. You just go lay down and rest, and I'll bring the baby to you when it's time for them to feed. Like, that is my philosophy, and I like to make sure that they're not overdoing it, and I encourage them not to. When we as postpartum doulas are moving around somebody's space and taking on chores for them and doing the dishes and making sure that they're eating, we're setting the tone for that household. Day by day, our role as a postpartum doula will really help the household support the person that is healing, and this should continue past when we're done working for them. That's really providing some guidance for when we leave, and even if it's just, you know, the next day, if we're not going to be there, us being there for one day is just showing them that we need to be putting that healing person at the top, and we need to help them heal and encourage them to heal, or they're going to get up and start doing things. One of my favorite parts about being a postpartum doula is helping the family set the tone for the weeks and the months ahead that I'm not going to be there. And I think that it trickles down for years to come, because the house knows what's expected of them when, you know, there's so much responsibility falling on one person. So the things that I really enjoy about being a postpartum doula are leaving feeling like I've helped somebody, or, you know, have offered good information, or have just offered support and holding space and listening to these very real and new experiences as a parent. So I just like to come in and use my intuition to know where I'm needed and, you know, what questions to ask. And of course, postpartum doula training helps to learn what to look out for and, you know, how to really be there for parents and babies and take care and kind of like nourish the house while we're there. I'm really honored to be welcomed into these healing spaces and to be able to, you know, share energy with them and really hold space for them while they go through this time. I think that if you are like kind of nervous about starting, or if you're not really sure where to start, just start with a postpartum doula training, or, you know, look into those basics of healing and breastfeeding and baby wearing and caring for a newborn, and you'll start to kind of see what this role could look like for you. I think with time it gets easier. It's always kind of intimidating. Those first few families are, you know, first family, and you just kind of have to push through it, and soon it'll start to feel like second nature. But I want to encourage you to get started, even if, you know, you're nervous, even if you haven't had children before. You don't have to have had children to be a good postpartum doula. Is half of postpartum healing is showing that person that is healing that they are being heard and that they are supported, and that we are there to be their extra set of hands and to really help them not overdo it in those first weeks and months that they are healing.